Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching my other videos pertaining to Year 12 and Year 13 English content in Fiji. Today I will be discussing on a past year papers question. This is from 2016, Fiji Year 12 Certificate Examination from 2016, and this is a poetry question. Now I've chosen social issues as the common theme for the two poems that this essay will discuss, usually because a lot of kids choose relationships, not so much social issues. But I always think that social issues poems, Meditatio and The Old, they are really interesting because they talk about things that you get to analyze and to think about what's happening in our society. So without further ado, we'll continue discussing. Okay, this is the question. With reference to the two poems from the theme social issues, you are to outline the issue in each poem. So one issue per poem. And then further you're to analyze how the imagery works out each issue discussed above. So the imagery will come from your styles. So we're going through your notes. Usually people get scared. You kids get scared when you look at the style and you don't know how to discuss on it. Okay, basically poetry, the poets have to think of ingenious ways to bring about the theme of the poem. So they would always, since due to the limited words that they use, it's executed in such a way that it's potent, where it's very important. So we will look at these two poems. Refer back to your notes while I am discussing this. So this is an original. I mean, the question is from your 2016, but I prepared the essay. So this is just here to guide you. Okay, first off, your titles of work studied. Now this, please be very, very careful when you are writing down the titles. Meditatio, it's not meditation, it's a meditatio. Open inverted comma. Since you are writing this, all titles must be written in between inverted comma. So Meditatio the Old, that's half mark. Ezra Pound for Meditatio and Male Legal for the Old. Having both this correct, the spelling, the title, it'll warrant you 1 mark. Okay, moving on. Then we have our plan. Plan amounts to 2 marks. So I've written down a table. You can whatever style that you have been learning from your teacher, you can do so, but basically you are to have the content of your final essay in your plan. So this is how I have presented my plan. First off, you have to have your title, excuse me, your title, Meditatio the Old. So we will discuss question 1, which is the main issue. So the main issue for Meditatio is human actions are questionable compared to dogs. Example, war, pollution, murder, rape, etc. So the main issue for Meditatio, we always assume, well, it's like we always look at the ways of dogs and we say, okay, goodness, the things that they do, their habits, we can conclude and concur that we are the better species. Our superiority is obvious. But when you look at war, pollution, knowing that it's contributing to our earth getting sick and eventually to global warming, and then the more severe natural disasters that can lead to people dying, and we do it knowingly. The consequences, there's murder, there's rape, etc. There's so many things that humans have done, and then you begin to question whether superiority is whether we are more superior than animals, or are dogs just as better off than us. So that's the main issue from Meditatio. Then you have the main issue from the Old. Young people have neglected the elders in society, creating more gap between the young and old. That's self-explanatory when you discuss your notes. Now this is the main issue that I have concurred, so you can look at what your notes have written and write down your main issue. Okay, plan. The imagery, the second question, the imagery used, the vocabs, this is what imagery was used to bring out the main issue. So for the imagery in Meditatio, you can say the vocabs or the vocabularies that were used. It paints the picture of the main issue. Example, curious habits. Now this word was repeated. So this is used interchangeably between describing about men and dogs. So our actions is it the same, or is it better, or are we inferior than dogs, and when you actually think about it. So this is basically how that was brought about. They're the words. Okay, the vocabs as well that was used. That thatch roof signalized something outdated. So we do not have houses nowadays. Modern houses, they're either tin or concrete, or they're made out of modern materials. So we can say that thatch roof is outdated, so it signifies something that of the past. And the walking stick, his walking stick was his only friend, so this signifies loneliness. So he doesn't have any friends, he doesn't have any young people around to keep him company. All his friends have died. All right, so that's the body. Then you have your introduction, general statement, thesis statement, then conclusion, restate thesis, and your leaving message. Thank you. We'll now move on to final essay. So this is normally in your final essay you have to have 6 paragraphs. So if you answer the question, your body will amount to 4 paragraphs, and your intro and conclusion, then that will be your 5th and 6th paragraph. So first paragraph, this is your introduction. Poets use unique ways to bring their messages to the readers. The issues are usually one that reflect their own reality. Now with reference, now that is your general statement. Okay, it has to usually, if you've been taught by a teacher to write down the same intro or the same sentence for your introduction, that's fine. But if you want to be, you can think of ways of your own ways to open your own introduction. But it has to be very general. But going back to our theme, which is social issues. With reference to the 2 poems studied this year under the theme social issues, meditatio, once again, it has to be in inverted commas, the title by Ezra Pound and The Old by Mel Lego. This essay will discuss the main issues from each poem and the imagery used to bring out the issues respectively. And so the second sentence for our introduction is your thesis statement. So what you will be discussing in your essay, and it's usually your question. We are referring back to the question, which was outline the issue in each poem, 1 per poem, and analyze how the imagery brings out each issue discussed above. So that is your thesis statement. And if you are thinking about thesis statement only being for expository essay, no, you can also bring it to your every essay that you bring. So you always have to have a thesis statement. Okay. Paragraph 1 for your body. In Pounds' Meditatio, the main issue discussed is the superiority of man is questioned when we closely meditate or think about our actions. Actions that may deem absurd compared to dogs. This includes war, pollution, murder, rape, infanticide, gender identities, etc. As the title translates, you have to really think of our actions and later question if we are really the superior species. Now, I'm not pulling this out from anywhere. This is basically what meditation is about. It's the main issue. When you think about the ways of man, do you think we are superior to animals or to dogs? Because of what we do can be senseless, like war, pollution, murder. Dogs, they mainly do actions to contribute towards their survival. So when they're hungry, they will, resort to desperate measures, or if they need to procreate. But for us, things like war, pollution, murder, it's senseless. So that is why the poet Ezra Pound, he really thinks about these things that we do. Why should we think that we are the superior species? On that note, now we're going to say the second paragraph of our body. Another social issue discussed in Lego's poem is how our elders in our society are being neglected. Now these are social issues. Youths are more likely to move to urban areas once they are able and leave their grandparents and older parents to fend for themselves. Now this is understandable. Understandably, youths are leaving their homes for better opportunities in work, school, medicine, entertainment, and etc. It is a sad reality. So if you notice, I do not really delve or deeply discuss about the poem. It's just the main issue, right? The main issue. You don't go and really discuss a lot into it, because you've got the rest of the paragraphs to answer the question. Okay, moving on. As poets are ingenious in ways to bring issues through their works, in Pounds' poem, the imagery he used was the vocabulary. Now remember, imagery is the style. So what style does the poet use to bring out the main issue? So the words he used, which was the vocabulary. The diction or the vocabulary was simple yet effective. Now the word curious, now you see it repeated twice in the poem. So curious was used interchangeably to describe our ways, which was the ways of man, are odd, but ending with how man's actions is more odd than those of dogs. Yet we claim to be the highest species. Right? It's to the point. I did not beat around the bush. It's to the point, and it's effective. Okay, moving on. The second last paragraph. Finally, Male Lego's poem used diction as well, which is vocabulary, to bring out the imagery. The imagery further made the issue of negligence of our elders. For instance, thatched roof, walking stick. These words paints a picture to the readers that it symbolizes older generation and loneliness. Okay, conclusion. In a nutshell, both poets bring out their messages through their own unique ways. Both poems have taught us lessons that our actions have repercussions that we should think about. Right, so that ends our poem essay. Now, you will look that it may seem that there are not a lot of words, but it is very effective. Now that goes back to how you want to project your answer. So don't beat around the bush. Make sure that you know what the question states and directly answer it. Okay, so we just outlined the main issue, which we did. We analyzed what imagery or how the imagery brought out the issue, right? So that was discussed also in the poem essay. So thank you very much. I will end with that, and please subscribe if you haven't, and like the video, so I'll know that there's a lot of kids students are watching, and I will continue to make more of these videos. And all the best with your revision for your exams. If this is part of your homework for within the term or within the year, thank you for choosing to watch this video and also help you with your revision. Nakbaliw.